If there is one thing positive that you can say about County Executive Mark Elrich, it's he's consistent. He loves real estate tax increases. A few years ago, he proposed a 7-cent increase on real property taxes, which the county council cut by more than half. And the council later admitted that because of the increase in assessment values, the tax increase probably wasn't even needed. Now, this year, it gets even better. Mr. Elrich is seeking an overall 7.6 increase in the county budget, up to $7.7 billion, which is on top of the 5% increase we had the year before. The most significant change, of course, is the 3.5-cent increase in real property taxes. Maricé, even the members of the council are concerned about these increases when there's so much economic uncertainty.
Agreed. I think we heard it loud and clear from council members Dave Albernaz, Lorianne Sales, Don Luque. They were all very concerned about these tax increases. And as a homeowner, for example, I mean, this just, as if it passes as recommended, if a $495,000 home would see a $450 property tax increases, that's a home that I own. I'm not a $1 million homeowner, but for those who have a $1.2 million home, there'll be an increase of $1,200. I mean, these are significant increases. And it comes in a moment where affordable housing is, we lack affordable housing. So at this point, I don't think that what Mark is doing is, well, he's a lame duck executive. So at this point, I think that people like Andrew Friedson, for example, are, I think they're being smart in positioning themselves early on, in opposition to these property tax increases. And, kudos to Andrew that he's always really positioned himself as a pro-developer, pro-housing local leader, as you can see, with the areas in Pike and Rose right in the heart of his district. So, while it's going to hurt a lot of us, we do see that politically some are taking advantage to position themselves early on for the county executive race, for example.
Well, it's really interesting because, we talked in the last segment about the strength of the unions. I mean, the union strength here in Montgomery County is even probably a little more overwhelming than for the whole state. Jackie, the Republican candidate for county executive in the last election, Reardon Sullivan, has a proposal to cap spending to the increase in the consumer price index. Now, do you think that is the kind of discipline that the council needs superimposed upon them to keep our budget in check?
Absolutely. I think at the state level and at the county level, what we see here is we have complete one-party rule. So the Democrats don't really feel like they have to take into account the voices, the opinions of the other side, and they can just spend whatever they want because there's no opposition. So I feel like, I call him Sully, I know him personally, but Sully's idea of tying spending and capping it to the CPI is really smart because it's taking into account changes into the cost of living that, of course, as Maricé was saying, are going up and up every single year. And it's a better alternative to just having unlimited taxing and spending with no breaks, no opposition to kind of fight back and say, hey, what are we doing here?
So, the beauty of this show and why we've been on the air for almost 30 years is we like to get into the political gossip of things, and especially here in the county. And, in a recent survey of Montgomery County residents, 42% said they feel they're paying too much for services they're receiving. And 11% said, no, go ahead, tax us some more. But I mean, what's the political dynamics at play, Maricé? Are we seeing, kind of a taxpayer revolt that'll result in some political upheaval, either on the county council level or for the county executive, you think?
I think this is a phenomenal question, and I was actually going to address this already. We have this fiction of this one-party rule where we believe that, because we're all Democrats, that we're all progressive and we're all about spending. But what I found, for example, and I'm more of a left, I would say more progressive than most Democrats that are elected. Because it's one party rule, it's sobering to hear from the public, from we may not have opposition party wise because yes, I agree. We don't have adequate representation of Republican elected officials. I'm a constitutionalist. I believe in like fair representation. Let me just say that. But as somebody who has served, the Democratic Party has not been nearly as progressive as somebody like as a millennial woman of color, whatever you want to tag me as. The Democratic Party has not done enough. So when it comes to issues that really affect your voters, we are responsive to that. And that's why the General Assembly, for example, and I know the County Council, talking about the County Council and a survey and actually there was one more data point that we missed there, Casey, is that 7% of residents are willing to receive less in their programs in order to see their taxes decrease. But I see that we got to close this section. What my point is that because it's a one-party rule, we are more vulnerable, I guess, or more receptive to the public because it's the taxpayers and the voters are going to only be attacking the Democratic Party because it's the only party that's in the rule.
Okay, thanks. Now, Jackie, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to say whether or not we're facing a taxpayer revolt.
Well, I was going to say, I'd love to talk to 11% of people who actually want to pay more in taxes because those are unicorns. But I would say it's tough. And I think it goes back to kind of what we were talking about in the interim about federal employees. A lot of the Democrat voter base in Montgomery County are federal employees. So if they're leaving the state due to not having their jobs here anymore, I think we could see that combined with the frustration in the cost of living seriously make some changes in the county.
It'll be fascinating to watch.